Curtis A reached out to me, said make a theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, guess I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee
He'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers.
it's art by Akerman. It's art by Akerman.
Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation.
It's art by Akerman. Art by Akerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Akerman.
How's it going, everybody? We are back for another episode of How'd They Do That? I've had a few of these now. The last one, if you've been following these, was with Matt Stein. That was an excellent conversation, and there is a playlist for these now, so you can check out that playlist if you are, mostly interested in these types of interviews. And then the other stuff is all just throughout in the video section. So, but today we're going to talk to my good friend Joe Martinez, who's going to talk to us a little bit about his Sy-Clone tribute figure. So let's bring him on. Hey there, Joe. How you doing?
Hey.
Is this a fake freeze?
Yeah. I had to. I had to.
Remnants of the Shooting the Shelf episode.
Yes. I don't recommend checking out that episode. I'm not there the whole time.
Well, luckily you're looking and sounding great today. No issues with the internet.
Thank you. So are you.
And we're going to talk a little bit about this Sy-Clone tribute. Now, first of all, it's an amazing tribute. He did a great job with it. But I wanted to first kind of talk about hold on. Let me pull up the slideshow. Let's get that going here. So, yeah. So tell us a little bit about why Sy-Clone, a little bit of history of you and Sy-Clone.
So Sy-Clone has always been my favorite He-Man character, even more than He-Man. I don't know what it is. As a kid, I don't even remember ever seeing him on the show, the original He-Man. And my cousin, 5 times removed, who I actually got to see once a month, had Sy-Clone. It was his only Motu figure, and I was in love with it. I was a kid, and I just wanted to be if he doesn't notice, I take it with me, But of course, I never did that because I was actually a very good kid who never did those kind of things. Thank God. But it was that one thing. I was so jealous he had, and it was partially because of the action feature, which I've always hated action features on toys, even as a small kid. Yeah. One of my biggest things I hate, and I've said this on I think Schmerber's thing, the Wolverine figure from Toy Biz, the original Wolverine, I hated the action features on it as a kid. Cool. And just so the fact that my absolute favorite is the one with the action feature where he spins, and that was the draw to it. I don't know. But yeah, that's mainly what it is. And I just was I was seeing, Four Horsemen have all their tributes, and I was just I want a Sy-Clone one. And I was originally going to use 3D parts to make him and stuff, find a really good head for that. But I saw David Williams doing his stuff, his customs. I can't remember whether the Buzz Off was first or not, or if it was some other custom, but he was telling me, because he and I talk multiple times a week. And he was telling me how he makes tributes and he doesn't use any 3D parts, and he makes all of his tributes the way the Four Horsemen would make them, rather than just as best as he can make it using every part available. And I was just okay, let me see if I can do that with Sy-Clone,
It's interesting. I was having a conversation with Emil last week in the customizing studio, and it's like we all have those like internal rules that we put on ourselves. Like it's like nobody's saying how you need to do these things, but like for Emil, like if he's doing a tribute, he's done some tributes where he's used a 3D sculpted head or something, but for the most part, he tries to stay to horseman parts. But he'll also like modify and cut them and put them in different spots and mold and stuff. Whereas I don't know that David would do that. I think David wants to use like, he wants to do it like the horseman would do it, which means you use the parts as is. You don't get to like cut them in half and twist them upside down and do, say
exactly.
Which these different rules that people have on how they want to do these things.
Yeah, he explained his reason for it, which is like the best possible reason, which is when he has it sitting on his shelf next to the actual tributes.
Yeah.
He wants people to not be able to tell it's a custom.
For sure.
He wants it to blend in beautifully with the rest of them. And that's the best you can do, I don't want it to look better than them, if it's sitting there in the middle of them. And I also don't want it to look worse. So what you do is you do what they do.
Yeah. So this is kind of you starting here. So tell us a little bit about like where you decided to begin.
So I had a wall tour. This was like just after Legion's Con. I had gotten my pack in from David Williams, and I'm just popping and swapping some stuff. And I threw on the Vampire Phalanx head originally because, he has the ring around his head, and the Vampire Phalanx had those like weird things on the side. And I was like, maybe that can just like at least give the air of it. And I couldn't get past the vampire face.
Gotcha.
And the fact that the back of the head just came out to that point, it just didn't work right for me. Okay. I had also at one point was going to work with a Xylernian guard that I didn't even take a picture of that. I never even popped and swapped that on. I just kind of went, nah, it's not going to work with that faceplate.
Now the new Eternia one that we just put out has that faceplate. For if you were going to do a tribute of that version, that would be cool.
Yes, Hank Gasperson did that, and it's great. It is.
Yeah. I just saw that. Yeah.
He did great work. He said, he saw mine. He's like, I could do that. He did a great job.
This was kind of your second iteration after you switched off the vampire head for the Zygar head, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I was like playing with the colors. I was just like, those are a little too bright, and it didn't really quite invoke the right feeling that I wanted with the colors. I also didn't have the chess piece I ended up using in the end, but it was always in the plans to use that chess piece from the beginning. So they're just not in the mock-up.
It's on the final comp.
Yeah, from the science officer, I think, is what comes with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about like how are you? So as you're taking a photo, you're pulling this into, I'm guessing, some sort of photo editing software.
Yeah, Photoshop.
You're okay. Gotcha. On your phone or on
my computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of adding some color here and there and going, okay, if I painted it up like this, here's kind of give you an idea of what it would look like. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out there for people that are kind of like, okay, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? How do I go about doing this? So
yeah, there's absolutely no paint. This is a mock-up proof of concept for my own sanity.
And then same thing with these.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know why I originally had like orange eyes for him and then like decided to just go all black. I don't remember the process there. Okay. But it's what I ended up doing in the end. I don't remember ever making that switch, but the black eyes definitely look better than the orange eyes in the long run.
Gotcha. So then here's some kind of work in progress stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. The face was actually my favorite part to paint on that thing. The head. Just because, you got the depth of the scales and stuff. So, like, basically, I did the face part first and then, like, dry brushed it, with a lighter blue And so, you know, it made everything have some depth, but figuring out how to paint the forehead with the circle was a lot of fun. To like going with the sculpt where the red should be and shouldn't be on it was actually kind of like my favorite part of the painting process on this entire figure.
Yeah.
Because the painting process is, for me, when I'm making a custom, it's why I do the custom. The painting is the fun of it. I have a lot more fun painting it than the actual like end result, which feels weird to say, you know, because most people, you know, they want the end result, but the end result is the second on the tier of why I do this.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Go ahead.
I love the fact that you used the dark joints, so that, you know, you didn't have to do anything, you know, paint-wise on them. Obviously, rub is always something that we kind of talk about worrying about, and if you're starting with the black joints, you don't have to. So that made that Waltor figure great for that.
Absolutely.
And just overall, the different parts that you chose for this feels like it worked out really well.
Yeah, which I'm gonna have to get a bunch of things like the Sphexian Minor and the Fisher Rice, just because those black parts, man, they're perfect. They're perfect, and I don't have to worry about that stuff.
Well, Fisher Rice, especially with the extra set of black arms and legs.
Oh, I know, it's so good.
Yeah, it's a customizer's dream for sure.
Yeah.
So this is the final version, and tell us a little bit about, you know, just kind of as it all came together, and you know, what your thoughts were on this, and then also like what paints did you use to put this together?
I paint with my absolute favorite paint. I know a lot of other people tend to have a little bit of an issue with it because it does get kind of thick after a while. Averland Sunset by Citadel. I've never had to paint more than 2 layers of it. And for a yellow, that's, as you know, that's like amazing. But like I always prime my stuff black first, and then just to go over yellow, over black, and like that's how it came out. Is just one of my favorite things. I swear by Everland Sunset. I use it as a base no matter what yellow I'm painting.
I love the color. I used to use it all the time, but I got like 2 or 3 bottles in a row where almost immediately when I had opened it, it was already chunky. Like I don't know if it's something with the formula or what, but it it would like chunk up on me and turn almost like cottage cheese. But as far as like, you're right, as far as like coverage and color, it's great. So
yeah, mine's starting to get like that now. This is actually, I bought this bottle specifically for that custom because I was running low at the time, and now it's starting to get a little chunky, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to get a new one soon.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that formula, but that one seems to do it more than a lot of the other Citadels for some reason. So yeah. What about the reds and blues?
The red is there it is. I have like all the colors right next to me, thankfully, just by chance. Okay. It's corn red from Citadel.
Okay.
But then I took War Painter Pure Red and dry brushed over it with it. Okay. Very, very lightly. I didn't use too much because this is a very, very, very bright red, and I didn't want that because then it would have just been too bright. I wanted them all to be kind of the same level of saturation. Okay. Except for the yellow, which I wanted to be a little desaturated. Gotcha. Because like when all your stuff is the same saturation, it looks wrong, which is a weird thing in art. Like if you were to turn it black and white, you would still know which parts were red, which parts were blue, and which parts were yellow. So, you know, that's something you actually want to do with a custom. Otherwise, it'll be kind of harsh on the eyes. Gotcha. And
blues.
Yeah, the blues I used for the base of that Calidor Sky, again by Citadel, because I like to base everything in Citadel. They make a great, their base paints make a great first layer. And then over that, I dry brushed, I think, No, it wasn't that one. I think it was. Where are you? There you are. It's that one. Royal Cloak from War Paints. Just to make things pop. You bring out all the little details. And I also dry brushed the yellows with. This bottle is so destroyed you wouldn't be able to read it if I showed it up, but because it's almost out, and so when you're just really squeezing the bottle to get it out at that point, it's a demonic yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, demonic with an A.
Nice.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say, because I know you've done multiple of these now, I would say at some point if you do another one, it may be fun to actually do one with the brighter colors like you had on this one on the right.
Yeah.
Because that's how I remember Sy-Clone as a kid, is like those bright colors were definitely in your face and were like so striking that it made him like it's. I know within like a collection, like you were talking about David saying earlier, like you want it to kind of fit in with the collection.
Yes.
But to me, that Sy-Clone never looked like he belonged with the other masters, which made him a little bit special because he was so bright and in your face. So I think if you did one with those colors, would be really freaking cool. So I'm planning to make myself a second one, a little more based on like the original, because it's funny because Hank Gasperson he had done one with the bear arms pieces. And I had actually talked, like, before he had told me he was going to do that, I had been talking with David Williams about like 3 weeks before that about how I wanted to make another Sy-Clone using the bear arms. And he then came out with that. And I'm like, shoot. He went and did that. Now people are going to think I'm copying, but nah, not really. I don't care. Even if they do think that, like, I'm making it for myself. Yeah, which, that's a big thing we always talk about. Make it customs for yourself. Don't make them to sell. Right. And the other thing is that it's like, I think there's a kind of a tendency for some people in this community. It's like, well, once one person's done it, like, I can't do it. Like, that's not true. Like, you can always do your version of it. And in this instance, you did one and then he did one. And then if you do another one that incorporates some things that maybe he is also doing, like, that's fine. Like, that's, heck, that's what we're doing here. We're talking about your process of this in case somebody else wants to try something like this. Like, we're all learning from each other and we're all, taking these inputs in from other people. And that's how we learn and grow. So.
Yeah. And actually, this is the first figure I ever tried something with, which is around this time was the first time I ever used makeup brushes for dry brushing. I've always heard about using it. Yeah. I never really tried it, but it was the first time I did that, which, like, holy cow. What a difference.
Little, elf brushes you can get on Amazon for like $1 or $2 or something. They're really good.
I spent like $4 on a pack of like 20 different
that's even better.
Like I used it using these two brushes.
Yeah.
This one's a very, very, very tiny one, which is, I've got Sy-Clone right, the original Sy-Clone right here, like I was like, okay, how am I going to dry brush the red parts here without like getting this and this?
Yeah.
And
a lot of times
David Williams was like, just use a really small one. I was like, what, really? That's going to work? Okay. And it did.
Yeah. A lot of times what I'll do is mask it off. So I'll like put some blue tack around the areas that I don't want to cover. Or there's also a Vallejo thing that's called like liquid mask that you can paint on the areas that you don't want to dry brush. And then you dry brush the area, and then you can just peel that mask off. So, those are a couple different ways, just for the folks watching, just in case you want to, you're worried about dry brushing one thing and you don't want it to go over another area. You can kind of cover those areas that you don't want to dry brush.
Yeah, I also like to use Silly Putty. It's like, unlike the blue tack, it won't be forever stuck in a crevice. Because it sticks more to itself than other things. So even if it does stick in the crevice, if you keep just like taking the silly putty and just go boop, again and again, it'll eventually just quickly come out.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and it's a
kind of
lot
what
more
the
malleable.
blue tack does too, though. Like if you use more blue tack on blue tack that's stuck, it'll get it off. So you
Yeah.
just gotta keep blotting it. But yeah, I mean, whatever works for people. Listen, there's we say on this channel, like there's no right way to do this. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. So try some different things. Try different paints, try different methods of masking, and you're gonna find one that works for you, and then you're off to the races. So
yeah.
I did want to pull up real quick. I know we were talking about Sy-Clone, but you also did another Motu tribute that I think came out fantastic.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about this one? Like, same kind of process. Like you thought about the parts. I'm guessing you put them in some sort of Photoshop and saw what it would look like, and then gathered whatever pieces you need and went from there.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I've actually been planning on making him the Mosquitor as long as the Sy-Clone. I didn't remember that. I thought I waited a while, but while searching for the pictures of the work in progress stuff for you, I was finding the work in progress stuff for the Mosquitor as well. The mock-ups, I was sending them to Calling Cult because he's a big Motu guy, and probably he's one of my first friends from the Cabal. And so I had all these mock-ups there for that back then too, and just I was like, wow, I was working on these at the same time, but I didn't paint up the Mosquitor until way after the Sy-Clone.
This thing's absolutely amazing. And even, I mean, the Sy-Clone, I look at it and I go, wow, that's a great tribute, right? But I look at this, and not only is it a great tribute, but I think even if anybody never knew Masters of the Universe and they just collected, let's say, Cosmic Legions, and they saw this, they'd be like, wow, Horseman did a great job on this figure. Like it looks like a Horseman Cosmic Legions figure, and I think that's about the best compliment I can give somebody.
Thank you. So I'm actually making another one right now for a commission because I had sold off the original. I kind of miss it now, but I have a plan for my very own version 2 of it, which is going to be far, far superior to the original. Because I've looked at it and gone, okay, here are the flaws. I need to fix that. But this new one I'm working on, it's really awesome. And while I was painting it, I just kind of went, we need a red and black Sphexian.
Yeah.
I was looking at this half painted up. I would love a Sphexian where that black remains, and this would be black. This has just gotten some remnants of dry brushing on it. It's going to actually change there, but that used to be black before, and it just it really looked good, and I'm like, I want a full Sphexian with that color scheme, just mostly red with little bits of black. And
yeah, I've got to say, I'm not a Sphexian guy. They're not.
Same.
I'm not a big bug guy in general. So the Sphexians don't really do a whole lot for me. But the one that you did is probably the only Sphexian I've ever seen where I'm like, yeah, I like that. It is such a good color scheme and paint job. It doesn't, I don't know. I love this. I absolutely love this. So great work.
Yeah, I did the same thing. In fact, with the Outpost Zaxius, I was going to sell this guy, the miner, but I decided while making the Mosquitor, I was going to give him a black helmet because I fell in love with the Mosquitor, and I was like, that's the one thing I feel he's missing is the helmet. And with that helmet, I'm just in love with this now, and it's a forever figure now because I was originally going to sell it.
Ooh. There you go. That works.
Yep, but no, bug figures. I have no interest. Get them away from me.
I mean, you
all
made
the
it
other
look cool, though.
no, thank you. But I want that black and red one. Give me, Horseman. Give me what I want.
So I guess for the folks watching, if there's some sort of tribute figure that you want to make, you've got something that whether it could be Master Universe, could be something else. But you're like, man, I'd love to see that in a 4 Horsemen version. Take some notes from what Joe did here, put some parts together, see what you like, see what you don't like, maybe add some color in Photoshop. You may find out after you add color, like he did, that you decide you want to switch heads or you want to, change up the parts a little bit or whatever. And then just try stuff, see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, though I limited myself and though I've talked about others who limit themselves, don't feel you have to do it that way. If you want to use 3D printed parts, use them. Do it your way. Have fun.
There's challenges to all of this, So some people challenge themselves by how can I incorporate fodder from other toy lines? That's one type of challenge. Some people challenge themselves with, you get a head sculpt from somebody and you're like, how can I take this, which is their vision, but turn it into something different? Like an example I use is the Eurolegions guys this year put out this like alien kind of head, this like weird goggled head. And immediately in my brain went parademon, like just immediately. And so I had to make a parademon. And it was just like this, I don't know, something deep inside me where it was like, you've got to do this. And even though I was like, well, I don't like the parademons have like these like techno wings and stuff, and we don't have anything like that. Like, and then it becomes, okay, how can you make that, or how can you acquire it, whatever. So, just challenge yourself to think about it. But there's different ways of doing this. You can, like I said, you can challenge yourself to make it all Horseman parts. You can challenge yourself to use third-party stuff. You can challenge yourself to use other toy lines. Whatever, just be creative and have fun, and then you're winning. So
absolutely. Like I have tributes that I've done that like they use 3D printed parts, before like my Wolverine that I did. I actually saw the head Emil did, and I just went, I need to modify that to look like Wolverine.
Yeah.
That head is what inspired that figure.
For me, I don't ever really just like think, oh man, I'd love to make a tribute of this or a tribute of that, and then figure out how to do. Like usually it's I see a 3D printed part, and immediately I go, what does this make me feel? And it usually will trigger something from my past, a movie, a TV show, a comic book, a something, and I go, oh, that reminds me of X, and then I go, wow, X would be kind of cool as a figure, like and then I kind of go from there. So, but. Like I said, there's all different ways of doing this. So just have fun. Yeah,
absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, Joe, I appreciate you being on and sharing your tips with us. Some amazing tributes there. One that I didn't share, but there's also on his website, on his Instagram, he's got a Skeletor one that's really amazing as well. So check him out.
There we go.
Instagram is right there at Drow Taylor. And just keep doing great work, Joe, because you're doing fantastic.
Thank you. Actually, can I address one more thing that I'd like to suggest to people? Don't be afraid to revisit things you've done already. So, like I was saying, I'm redoing that the buzz off. Wow, Mosquitor. But also, I'm revisiting my Sy-Clone, which I've already finished. I haven't really posted pictures of it yet. But like I've got 2 Sy-Clones at the moment, and the new Sy-Clone is like 20,000 times better. It's like a better paint job. I've given it like a better finish without even realizing it. My skills I've discovered have just gotten better, and so it's like 100 times better of a figure than this one. And I'm sad I'm going to part with this one because I got it as a commission. And like, if you ever look at one of your customs and be like, kind of want to redo that, go for it.
Yeah, and not to say anything, that doesn't mean that the one that people are purchasing or the one that he made before is a bad one. All right, so like the person that bought his Mosquitor, person that got the first Sy-Clone, that doesn't mean that they're bad. Okay, they're still good. He just made different choices this time. So
absolutely.
So just want to make sure I clear that out there.
That's a very good.
Wow, I got the I got the lesser version. No, you just got a different version.
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining me, Joe. Appreciate your
welcome.
insight, and hope to see you in the customizing studio today. So
Probably
right.
will be sleeping because I have to work tonight, and this is a little
Okay.
earlier than I normally get
Gotcha.
up. But
You've got a couple cyclones.
yes, to say Sy-Clone, I'm obsessed with Sy-Clone is to really be an understatement. I've even gotten to the point where like when I have boxes that I ship out to people, it's Sy-Clone blue. It matches the blue on these figures, and I have a brand new sticker. I'm awful with the camera. That absolutely is
logo.
his chest
Yeah.
radar. So if you guys want to ever buy a head, get some cool stuff with it.
There you
Or
go.
custom,
Check out Joe. Once again, Instagram at Drow Taylor. So thanks, Joe. I'm going to put you backstage to close out the show, and I'll be right back with you.
All right.
All right. So that's another episode of How'd They Do That. Hopefully you were inspired to, work on a tribute. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or any of the artists that I've spotlighted here. And if any of these episodes inspire you to actually work on one of these types of figures, make sure you tag us when you go to post it. We'd love to see what you come up with. The whole reason why we're doing this is to, help others out. So if this has inspired somebody to work on something, we'd love to see what your work is. So, and until next time, keep being creative.